My brethren, it is I. At this point, it's like I'm your, it's like I'm your big brother, or your long lost father you never found out about until now, or it's just like that's just starting to get back into your life, or the good old skipping out for a bottle of milk, and yeah, I guess you'll never see me again, but I'm here right now, and this is yeah. I felt I needed to bring it to the equation. I feel like this is a big, very big topic to talk about, considering it's about Vince McMahon. Basically his legacy, and yeah, Netflix just kind of dropped kind of a bomb, and I guess I guess I could read that little statement right there. The goal behind Mr. McMahon was to pull back the curtain and reveal the truth of McMahon. I guess they're talking about what the documentary that they already had in place with Vince, obscured beneath the persona he presented to the world. Over the 4 years of production, the story evolved in truly shocking ways, culminating in some extremely harrowing allegations. The final product is a revealing documentary that we believe offers a rich and nuanced portrait of the man and the complex legacy he left behind. And I guess that's the director and the executive producer for the whole documentary series. And it's basically like like it's coming out, of course, the whole, and they basically saying that's like, like how those like YouTubers nowadays, when something controversial happens, to like, it's not like not in the back. I mean, he still probably has that with magazines and everything like that, and up to date, and the media outlets and just Polaroids and the paparazzi and shit like that. Well, nowadays we have YouTubers, and and of course how streamers react, and basically like how the YouTuber, like how when like a big public figure that's like a YouTuber or a streamer, they like do something fucked up or something like that, and there's a lot of these channels now that farm. A lot. It used to be like a couple or a few, but now it's like a lot of channels that do that, or channels that could be based upon it, and they do a whole rise and fall type of documentary about their basically like the individual at the top, and then how they're just tumbling down, given that what's coming out about them. And before, my apologies if I kind of sound out of breath. I was kind of running an errand in between. Of course, if you can tell between these recordings. But yeah, like take for example, like Chris Tyson and Doctor Disrespect, what's going on between that. Kind of like the recent controversies when it comes to that. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, like they're doing like kind of like now. I feel like it was kind of like of course, you have a usual documentary about the individual, and now I don't know. It still could be that we still could get that, only if it's like, only like they're like now they're doing like I said, they're doing like kind of like a rise and fall documentary, and that's definitely bound to when they, of course, a little bit that it kind of sees some type of attention, but definitely when it drops, we definitely could see a fallout from that, and going into when it comes to Vince McMahon himself and all around that nature. So yeah, that's what it looks like when it comes to like the type of documentary that they're doing now, as opposed to what they were doing before. But yeah, that's what it looks like they're presenting when it comes to a whole rise and fall documentary, and about Vince, about everything about Vince McMahon and what happened. And probably that's what we're probably going to get to. It's probably going to be about that. I mean, probably a little bit like about that, his life. It'll probably only last like a couple of scenes or something like that, his life, and who he is and how he created WWE, and of course the aftermath and everything like that. And then definitely it's probably going to be about the last 4 years. It was mainly going to be about the last 4 years, about of course him basically losing control of WWE. Not only just behind this, not only when it comes to the content and everything, and everything of that nature, but like behind the scenes, the allegations coming out, and how he tried to get back into the company, everything like that. Yeah, that's like that. Obviously, that's how I see it pretty much going, and what the documentary is pretty much going to be about. And that's because that's the theme nowadays. you know basically, whether you want to call it Black Twitter or cancel culture or stuff like that. The IOC, they definitely going to have a field day when that drops later, when in late September. Like they're going to be like feasting all over that. You see it, I didn't even see, but I said that's kind of like the whole thing when nowadays, it's like it's a market, or people feed off that, or they never even like the individual to begin with. And that's that. That's the whole aesthetic now. I mean, I didn't even see, but I heard a tweet. I looked it up myself and I see it now. But like, it's about, it's about Jerry Lawler, and it's like his whole picture, and it's like, the first thing that comes to mind when you think of this person, insert basically, and they start saying predator, pedo, apist, or all kinds of that, all things of that nature. And I was like, it's like, Jerry Lawler does have a bit of a history. It is kind of ironic too when you think of the character, but yeah, Jerry Lawler does have kind of a bit of a history. But and not that I would say, of course, I mean there's there's a whole transcript overview of the interview they did when he got apparently charged. This is his hometown or state of Tennessee, and it's they have a whole transcript of the whole investigation, him being charged and shit like that. They had the newspaper of course the tabloids, the tabloids in Tennessee, and of them posting about it, of him with the rape case of the minor. And yeah, and let's I won't get into much of that, because that's that could be that's a whole nother beast. But I won't get into too much of that. But as in relation to this, I mean, you can even go back to the videos that I made about it when it was what happening at the time. Of course, because I feel like that for the longest time. But I mean, yeah, there's we pretty much know, especially too when it comes to the most sick, twisted individual of Vince. But there's a lot of more heinous shit where I feel like he's guilty for. I mean, it wouldn't be anything new if this whole, of course, the whole thing with Janelle Grant and the alleged sex allegations came out to be true. But of course, I still on that stance. I'm not judging. I'm not going that, because of course, people are easily manipulated, or they're just, of course, even more so, also judged. They judge by the basis of their feelings and how they feel about the individual, and because they want that to decide their narrative for them. But yeah, of course you see it. The internet is, people it's so believable of what happens on the internet and how it's presented. Without, you basically, when a person, of course, in this case, Miss McMahon, you're basically crucified. As soon as that story comes out, you're done. In this generation, it doesn't matter. As soon as that story hits and that you have that mystique, that rumor, or that whole aura around you now, then it's just, you're done, basically. But but I said, I feel like Vince is a lot. It's he has I feel like he has a lot of more controversial shit. And even though he has of course which pretty much dates back to the 80s when he was becoming who he is today. Even though he has there's of course allegations, there's an overview of this shit of what he's been of now. It's just been catching up to him. It's only caught up, of course, even though he has a lot of it dates back to the 80s, where he has cases against him about, and accusations against him when it comes to women and sexual assault, basically. Which I can't, like I said, because we look at the whole culture of Hollywood and how it started up before, and yeah, like that was they like that was the whole thing. Like, or I wasn't just another thing. When you think about behind like just real disturbing, horrifying shit when it comes to behind the scenes about Hollywood, where you have executives and very rich, powerful people, actors, or whoever you want to think of, etc., and they would do this shit. Pretty confident that it probably still goes on, even though we have like the culture that we have today. But like, yeah, like I said, I still like in this case, like I said, it just had to be the case because Janelle Grant, where it's a classic case of like, of course you did like, I just want to get money out of this man, and I'm gonna do whatever I can because who's gonna believe. Who are they going to believe more so over than the man who allegedly, did this to me, than the girl? Like, yeah, who are they more so going to believe? When it comes between me, the sad, powerless victim girl, over the course the very evil, powerful billionaire executive or businessman. So. Let's say I like always will still pretty much on that stance that I don't unless there's evidence, then of course people like gonna have those. I said of course, like we have AI and so many other shit today where you can just to the naked eye it just almost feels like we're getting to the point to where nothing matters or nothing is real anymore. And of course, you still have like people like I said, for example, that still, they still have proof, which is a good thing. You still have proof that come out against them. So it's like, okay, they really are this person. But yeah, we're really still straying from the point to where people just believe everything they see, and more so also going off the fact, going off the basis of their emotions and how they feel about the individual to fit their own narrative. And just perspective, because they just like because of just how they just like they don't like whichever they like or dislike the individual. And let's say like in this case, let's say like there's a lot of shit that Vince McMahon is definitely guilty for, but I just when it comes to the sex allegations, I could care less. Like people can say however they want it, or you can call me this and that. But yeah, it's the simple fact that there's just barely any notion of the fact, and there's also evidence too of apparently, and that can be fake too. But there's also like of course I've heard just still being infatuated and still being just wanting to like be still being in a relationship or having just like relations with Vince. So like yeah like. Take that also in consideration, and just this whole fact that this whole sexual allegations is it's not real. But so I feel like like they're gonna Netflix, like how those rise and fall documentaries YouTube play out nowadays, and that's just how I feel like. Just like I said, just look at the Vice. Like they're a really good series too, but just look at the Vice and how they like done wrestlers too. But yeah, that's how I feel like it's gonna be kind of like. Even though like this whole sexual allegations is kind of bullshit against Vince, which is why you haven't seen or heard really anything. Well, besides the Janelle, of course, the classic, he said, she said, or this billionaire powerful person, great me. Besides that, there's nothing really ever since. There's nothing really major that has happened over the course of that, or to regard any proof that Vince is, well, could be, but there's still no hard evidence of the fact that Vince is in a whole, pedal ring or sexual assault ring as well. So or what sexual trafficking, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, like there you go. But yeah, like I said, I pretty much presume that Netflix is gonna try to just. Probably like in a very politically correct way still, but like they're gonna, of course, the culture that we have now to where they try to pander and try to like hung because the IWC in this case, but yeah, I have a feeling they're probably gonna like try their best still to at least to really paint Vince in a light to where, I mean, you hear it. They want to reveal the true Vince McMahon behind the scenes, to where like the character is actually what she pretty much kind of like is. But they want to, they want to present to the people to how the real they're at the same time, but like their version of a much more trying to exaggerate to what Vince McMahon really is, and how he's just, of course, of what's been going on in this sexual assault allegations and trafficking and stuff like that. And they're going to try to paint him as, this whole giant predator and this evil person and stuff like that. Which I can agree on, but from the allegations, they're going to try to they're going to try to make it like as if he's like a rapist or, and many other things among this nature. And some people probably very known people, because I also heard, also very known people, wrestlers and, individuals in the wrestling world, they're probably going to be a part of it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to. There you go. I don't think I'm not gonna because of course there's other stories out, but like I said, I'm not gonna be really. This is like my whole project channel, and it's of course not that. But even on the other channel, I'm not gonna be uploading every day. Every 10 or 30 minutes is gonna be, or the next day is gonna be a video out. That's guaranteed. But no, I'm not. So I pretty much of course there'll be shorts, but to speak about something. But yeah, of course not gonna really do SmackDown tonight, and not bashing Berlin either. Pretty much, I'm just gonna be kicking back, and because they're on, especially they're like lately, that's the way Triple H has me been feeling, like limp dick. That's what he's been when it comes to professional wrestling. And whoa, pause. But won't be doing SmackDown tonight and the bashing Pearl tomorrow. So, but I hope y'all. I'm glad we got to sit down and reveal about this. But there you go. I'm gonna stop bothering y'all now. Let me shut my teeth. And probably the next time, whichever we decide. Or even sooner. But I'll see y'all later.